Hi, this is Troy Ray. I'm the pastor of Lakeshore Family Fellowship. I was looking at this parable from that Jesus taught. It's in Matthew's Gospel as well as Mark's and Luke's. And in most Bibles, the caption over the top is the parable of the sower. Well, it really actually doesn't have anything at all to do with the sower, and it has very little to do with the seed. Um, but I learned something important about that parable back when I was in college a number of years ago. I One thing that I learned back when I was in college was the extraordinary, undeniable relationship between labor and finding something in the refrigerator. And so finally, at the end of my childhood and the beginning of my adulthood, I learned how to work. And besides my regular job, I worked for an old man, retired store owner in Missouri named Mr. Uli. Mr. Uli had he called it a garden. In Missouri, a garden is like the back 40. And he hired me at the incredible rate of $5 an hour to work in his garden. And he would stand out there with me in his brown suit and his brown hat. He didn't have a tooth. He couldn't have rented a tooth. He would talk to me in his peculiar voice, always give me instructions on what to do, which was good because I didn't know anything about farming. And he gave me a bag of seeds and told me to put out the seeds. I said, well, how do you want me to do it? I thought I was going to be reaching in there and picking out a seed and putting it on the ground. And he says, no, sow it broadcast. Broadcast. And I looked at him blankly, and he reached into the bag and he flung the seeds out in the field. Broadcast. That made some sense for me in this parable, because I did always wonder why it is in this parable about the seeds and the ground and all like that, whoever it was that was putting out the seed landed in the path, landed in the rocks, landed in the bushes, as well as in the place where it would grow. And that happened because he sowed it broadcast, just like Mr. Uli told me to do. Funny thing is that term broadcast comes from the middle 18th century, and we know the term as having to do with a radio broadcast or a TV broadcast, but it originally had to do with farming. And in the 20th century, technology borrowed the term for farming, broadcast, to refer to how they were putting out the radio signal or the television signal. It was broadcast. It was everywhere. It was all over the place. What is significant to the understanding of that word broadcast and to the understanding of this parable about the seed going all over the place is that when you have a broadcast, a radio broadcast or a TV broadcast, to get any benefit out of it, you have to be on the right channel. Recently, in order for us to continue worshiping here at church, we set up a pavilion outside and we had drive-in church. And we put up a transmitter, an FM transmitter. And one week we had some difficulty getting everybody on the same channel because the word had gone out that it was going to be 89.7, but it was 87.9. And so without getting that corrected, being there wouldn't have helped anything at all. You still wouldn't be able to hear because you weren't on the right channel. Same way with TV, cable, everything. Broadcast. when you look back with that knowledge and you look at Jesus' parable, the plants wouldn't grow in a healthy way on the path where they had been broadcast. They wouldn't grow well and survive in the thorns where they had been broadcast. They wouldn't grow among the rocks where they had also been broadcast. But when the seed got in the right place, on the right channel, in the field that had been prepared for it, then it grew and it yielded a large crop. Here's the thing. If we want sincerely to hear the voice of God in our lives, we need to be on the right channel. Not in a place where our hearts have gotten hardened. Not in a place where all our cares and concerns about this life have choked out the very thought of God. And not in a place where we've become shallow. We need to be well tended and well prepared and ready to hear what it is that God might say to us, whether it be affirming and encouraging or even challenging. So it turns out that this parable is not about the seed. It's about where the seed landed. It was broadcast. It would grow anywhere that was prepared for it. So perhaps you and I should make sure that we are prepared to receive the seed of God in our lives so that we can grow and flourish. I love you. We'll talk some more.